This is the podcast that we ask our guests from in front and behind the camera, how did they get their foot in the door? What was the key to unlocking their success? What's their story?
Our guest today has voiced some of the most iconic characters put to screen. To name a few, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, and Puss in Boots. Not only that, he's voiced characters in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Rick and Morty, Scooby-Doo, DuckTales, Alvin and the Chipmunks, G.I. Joe, Ben 10, American Dad, Transformers, Spongebob Squarepants, Tom and Jerry, and he's won an Emmy doing it. Our guest today is actor Eric Bauza.
I can't believe we're so close to the release of this movie, and I'm so thrilled to get to chat with you and honored that you would take the time to talk about our film.
Well, man, thanks for taking the time. I literally just finished watching it about 10 minutes ago. So
nice.
I've got it all going around in my head, but really enjoyed it, man. It's such a throwback to like my childhood. Like watching that, I was like, oh, we haven't had a film like this for ages. And the animation, it's all hand drawn, I believe. So it feels like the authentic, the originals. It must be a lot of fun, man. You've obviously voiced these characters multiple times over the years, but to come and you're doing the two lead characters simultaneously. What is that process? I mean, do you record one character at a time, or do you do them literally back to back?
Well, you see, I sit in Los Angeles traffic for a long time. I don't know if you've been in LA, but we're in the car for about 12 hours a day.
So I have a lot of time on my hands to really talk to myself.
Who needs therapy when you have cartoons?
Again, Mel Blanc was the originator of these characters and how they sound, how they act. And I am just a big study of the original films, the original works of Looney Tunes. And I always equate it to being a fan of your favorite musician. You know the words to every one of their songs. You buy all the albums, and yet here you are, seeing them live in concert again for the 10th time. And you just can't get enough, right? You just can't get enough of the same music that you hear. Now, as a performer, I take the same notes that Mel Blanc made, the same melodies, but then we remix it.
Yeah, remix it.
And it somehow comes out sounding okay and enough for people like you to care about it. That's the other thing. It's like, so what if you could sound like the characters? You have to be able to act like the characters. And I think that is so important. And it's evident in Mel Blanc's work that the fact that we're still celebrating it 90 years later is saying a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? How it's timeless. I mean, this is proven that it's timeless. The fact that, as you say, 90 years later, it's crazy. It's still going. It's still popular. And I'm really intrigued and I know there's been, a lot of cartoons recently, but this is like a feature length, hand drawn, going in the cinema. I feel like it's been a long time. I mean, my childhood was like, Space Jam was probably the big one that, I remember. And I was a huge fan of that. But this feels like, going back and bringing something to the modern day that is, kind of from the past. So I'm really intrigued to see how kids of this generation react to it, because there's so much stimulus. When I was watching the film, I was like, it just reminds me of all the things that I watched as a kid, all the Looney Tunes. But then it has got there's a difference. It's a newer edge. Even though it is hand drawn, it feels current. It feels, that kids of this generation are going to really enjoy this.
Yeah. I feel like, and you hit that on the head right there, because a lot of the people that I've worked with over the years, no matter if it's like a 30-second commercial or a brand new, like a 5-minute short or a 22-minute series or a whole new movie like this, they understand that you don't change the Looney Tunes, but you can change the world around them. You have to. And in fact, it's almost like how they were made. They were made in the 40s and they reference things that were happening in the 40s, right? Like the backgrounds, the cities, the cars, the celebrities. They used to make fun of like celebrity, like who was doing that back then? Nobody. Now we have things like Family Guy, of course, that does that. But here we are. Looney Tunes still kind of does it, right? They make fun of social media in this movie, and technology, but what I like about it is that it's not distracting. It doesn't take over who the characters are, but it adds to them, and it adds to the gag and the joke and the purpose of why we would even reference it. So, yeah, it's very carefully done, and I feel like it won't be too jarring for old school fans like us, but it'll fit right in with the new generation.
I guess like me, you grew up with these characters, so it must be, the first time you ever voiced, Porky Pig or Daffy Duck, that must have been a bit mad. Was that mad? But I guess you must have been practicing it all these years to be able to be good enough.
I mean, honestly, like it still shocks me, to this very day, because who grows up thinking,
I'm gonna be Bugs Bunny one day. I'll show you all.
no one does that, really. And then you find yourself in that position and you're like, okay, now it's now or never. It's almost like, okay, like you've either dreamed about this moment your whole life or thought about it, and now is your chance. And then I think I auditioned for Bugs once and I didn't get it. And I was a little, you get a little, oh man, that would have been so nice. But at the end of the day, you just got to move on. And then almost a decade, 10 years had passed. And then they said, okay, we're auditioning again for Bugs Bunny. This time it's for a different show, a different short, and a different director. And it's usually up to the director or the person telling the story or the person doing the casting that makes that decision. Okay, well, we should use this person. And I just happened to be there at the right time. And I feel like whatever I've been doing, it was probably a little jarring for the long-term fans at first, but here we are now, 5 or 6 years later, and I feel like I've finally sort of, convinced or proven myself to be anywhere even close in the bullseye of Mel Blanc, which is impossible. No one will ever replace Mel Blanc. Let's just say that now. But what I like to think is that we come close and that it's entertaining enough for the kids to hopefully want to look back and find the original shorts.
Honestly, I wouldn't, to my ear, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And I know you've been doing this for years, and other voice actors may be able to tell that, the little differences between the two of you, but man, it's bang on. And
oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. This interview is brought to you by Just Water.
Yeah, like that's the key, is to stay hydrated, kids.
Stay hydrated. And I mean, just to quickly mention, I mean, these aren't the only iconic characters that you've voiced that people are aware of. I have a list here and it's insane. I mean, you've already mentioned a couple of them, but Bugs Bunny, Tweety
That's
Bird.
right, Doc.
Let's go through them and see if we can do
Yeah. So Bugs Bunny.
What's up, Doc?
Tweety Bird.
I thought I saw a putty tad.
Elmer Fudd.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting wabbit.
Marvin.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Daffy Duck.
Listen, pal, you're despicable.
Porky Pig.
Yeah, that's not all, folks.
Woody Woodpecker. Pepe Le Pew.
Yes, may we? Am I not cancelled anymore?
Puss in Boots.
Fear me, if you dare.
The Penguin.
Yes, well, look what the bat has caught in his belfry.
And then there's two Ninja Turtles, Leonardo and Donatello.
Well, for Leo, that was just my normal voice.
And then for Donnie, I kind of made him just a little bit more of a nerd, I guess.
Bam Bam Rubble.
Bam, 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 bam.
So good. There's loads more, but those are the hits, man.
Now for a quick break. We'll be back to the episode shortly. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support us, get early access and exclusive content and episodes, click to join our YouTube channel and become a member now.
Please leave us a positive rating. Add us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Life in Film Pod. Essentially, please like and subscribe everything. It makes a huge difference. Thank you.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you work in the film industry? Are you freelance? Or perhaps you have a 9 to 5? No matter what you do, mental health affects us all. I struggled early on in my career with the uncertainty of if and when I would ever work again, struggling to pay my bills, or simply with anxiety. Don't know about you, but being an actor, it's very important for me to maintain structure in the downtimes, and I found not only exercise, but talking to someone, for me, was a game changer. And so Life in Film has partnered with BetterHelp to provide you with access to the largest online therapy service in the world. And it can all be done from the comfort of your own home, from a phone, tablet or laptop. No commute, cutting down travel costs, and most importantly, it's affordable. With over 1,000 therapists in the UK, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise in mental health. If you need someone to talk to and you're thinking of giving therapy a go, BetterHelp is a great option. And being a listener of the podcast, you get 10% off. That's 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/lifeinfilm. That's betterhelp.com/lifeinfilm.
And back to the show.
How did your love of, imitation and, just being able to do all these voices and these impressions and these characters, where did that come from as growing up as a kid?
I think it was probably like having friends much like yourself that would challenge me, or like if I could make you laugh or get some kind of reaction out of you, a positive one, then I would keep going. There would be more fuel for the fire. And luckily, that's just how animation and auditioning works, is that you go, you submit, and if you get close to what that creator is looking for, then I'll tell you, my kid's gonna have braces, when he's older. It's gonna be good. He needs braces,
That's amazing, man. And
Most embarrassing moments, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was on the Ninja Turtles series, the 2012 series, and it's not even really that embarrassing, but it is like when you have such a passion for these characters, it can be heartbreaking sometimes when you don't make it, when you're almost there, when you book the character even sometimes, and I've learned this as a performer, you don't really believe it until you see your name go up that screen in the credits, because they could easily take you out of there. So I had auditioned for Ninja Turtles in 2012, and I didn't get anything. I didn't book any of the brothers. I was in the final callbacks, but they had cast all 4 Ninja Turtles. And I remember they had a little bit of trouble with the actor that portrayed Raphael. And then they invited me back to kind of fill in the role for the pilot, and then for this crazy fan event that they held at Nickelodeon. They invited over 12 fans from around the world to come to Burbank and watch us do a live table read. And I was so excited. I told my family, like, I'm going to be Raphael, And then last minute, they're like, hey, so sorry about that, but we have to let you know that you're not going to be Raph anymore. And I was like, oh yeah, who got it? And they're like, there's this new actor. His name is Sean Astin. You might know him from Lord of the Rings and Goonies. I was like, yes, I mean, if you're going to get replaced by anyone, it better be a Hobbit. So, he's a brilliant, brilliant performer. He couldn't have been nicer to me. We're still buddies. And then guess what, though? There's always a silver lining to these moments that you're kind of like, you kind of get down on yourself about. They invented a new character in the 2012 Ninja Turtle series named Tiger Claw. And he was basically like the henchman to Shredder that he always wanted. I think this guy actually killed people. So, no knock on Bebop and Rocksteady. I mean, they're great characters, but they're idiots. So the turtles always got away. But with Tiger Claw, he was like Boba Fett, where he had parts like articles of clothing or like the guns of people that he terminated. And he was such a badass. And I just remembered the moment of glory for me was to walk down the toy aisle at Target or Walmart and seeing a Tiger Claw figure that had the Ninja Turtles logo and everything. And that was like, That was it for me. I was like, you could take Raphael, you could have him. I got my original character in and who was happily and wonderfully received in the universe of Ninja Turtles. So yeah.
Amazing.
That was Tiger Claw. I can't see you, turtles, but I can smell you. Yeah, so that was him.
Well, this film's wicked, and I hope it does so well. I'm from the UK, so I'm looking forward to it coming out here. And it just really is, so, as I said before, it's a real throwback to, the animation, that kind of animation. I'm just hungry to see more of it, so I hope they do more of these. And yeah, looking forward to seeing it again on a big screen.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
And that's all, folks.
If you enjoyed this episode and want to support us, get early access and exclusive content and episodes, click to join our YouTube channel and become a member now. Thank you to our guest Eric, and thank you to Alexandra and the team at 42 West. As always, thank you to our sponsor, BetterHelp.